Now, former President Thabo Mbeki finally speaks about the chaos that's happening in the country. He finally speaks about the Madlanga Commission and the revelations that we had from Mkhwanazi. And he speaks about the corruption and wrongdoing that's being revealed by the Madlanga Commission and at the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee. However, what he says here, he seems to throw shade at Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership. He says that, well, if it were me, the first thing I would do is to speak to Mkhwanazi. You'd remember that after Mkhwanazi gave us the revelations, it took Cyril Ramaphosa over 7 days to actually address the matter with the nation. Well, to his own defense, he can say he was not in the country. However, this matter was a matter of urgency. Cyril Ramaphosa even came to the country and spent about 2 days without addressing the matter and only addressed it later on. So it raised questions to so many South Africans why it was that Cyril Ramaphosa was delaying this. And another question mark was, did he speak to Mkhwanazi? So far, there is nothing that indicates that Cyril Ramaphosa spoke to Mkhwanazi. And Thabo Mbeki here seems to throw shade at Cyril Ramaphosa to say he should have spoken to Mkhwanazi. He should have sat down with Mkhwanazi, and he and Mkhwanazi would have shown each other the way here, or would have carried this matter together and have proper suggestions as to what should happen. I want us to listen to this clip by Thabo Mbeki when he speaks about this so that we can go deeper into this matter. Let's listen in.
There's a general who took all of us by surprise in this terrain of telling the truth, General Mkhwanazi. I wonder, President, I mean, part of the big crisis is precisely these civil servants who feel like were not supported. In this case, the politicians are not supporting us to fight the criminals.
Sure.
Because this is our constitutional duty. But we do all these things and they undermine the work of fighting drug dealers and all of that. Is maybe General Mkhwanazi some sign of this perhaps moment that might open up to speak the truth on behalf of civil servants, maybe in the movement of progressive forces in the country, to turn and say, but you are not progressive. You are part of the people that are holding.
I was very, very happy when General Mkhwanazi spoke the way he did, because of what he said, but also because it kind of sent the positive message that there are still South Africans among us who've got that kind of courage, that attachment to principle, who are ready to stand up and tell the truth as it is. In those two senses, that I was very, very happy that Mkhwanazi did what he did. And I've said this publicly, that yes, I'm very, very glad he did this, and it's our task to follow up on what he said. And I think it must serve as inspiration to other people outside of the police, in the civil service, everywhere they are, to do this thing that Mkhwanazi has done, to tell the truth. Where are we? What's wrong? As we see it, he might be half wrong, half right, whatever it is, but to tell the truth as he says it. I think it should inspire other people to do the same thing. Because what he has done is, I think, is to put detail to things that many of us suspected. That there was a particular relationship between organized crime, the police services, political people. Is put facts to that kind of paradigm, which you suspected. It then enables you to act on it, because now you've got the hard facts to do it. But I'm really hoping that it would inspire other people in the police and outside of the police to follow this example
And speak the truth.
and tell the truth, to tell the truth about ourselves, because we are not telling the truth. We're not telling the truth about who we are.
You would have been in this this position. I don't know if I can risk putting you in a corner. After Mkhwanazi speaks, and you were the sitting head of state, what would you have done about Mkhwanazi?
No, I don't know if I can answer that question. I don't know. I doubt if I'd be able to answer it. I mean, first of all, I think if I were president, and there's General Mkhwanazi gives a press conference there, I would have said, can we meet, the two of us? And you tell me in detail. I listened to you in your press conference. Now, can we discuss it? And even get the National Commissioner. National Commissioner, this is your man. And get a proper understanding of this thing in its detail as head of state, as President of the Republic. Because obviously you have to act on it. You can't just say, I heard. You've got to do something, but to do something is much better to be as well informed as possible. That's what I would have done. And in that conversation, then I don't know what they would have said about Mkhwanazi. Which would then give me the possibility to say, in which case, let me act in this way or the other way. But I think that's what I would have done. You would have to understand properly, not just rely on what you heard as you was talking, but to engage. You are head of state, you are head of government. You'd have to engage these people very directly.
Well, Thabo Mbeki says, as the president of this country, as the man who's leading this beautiful nation called South Africa, this nation that's now in this turmoil that has just been thrown into a sandstorm and everything seems to be falling apart. If I were the leader of this country, I would have immediately called Mkhwanazi and I sit down with him so that he can tell me the scope of this corruption that we have in this country. And only then, after I'd sat down and had a meeting with him, we would have come up with ways to actually see how we can address this matter. Whether it would have been addressed through a commission of inquiry, or we could have fastened ways and found other ways to actually deal with this matter immediately. He said, as the president, I would have done that. In this way, saying the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa was not really up to par. And of course, we would agree with Thabo Mbeki on this one. Why is it that Cyril Ramaphosa did not speak with Mkhwanazi? And why exactly did it take so long to actually address this matter? To say that he was outside of the country is not really the full explanation, because he did come back into the country and he took his time to actually address this matter. And another thing is that he did not speak with Mkhwanazi. Of course, Mkhwanazi had to reveal the things that he revealed the way he did, because obviously he did not have access to the president. And even after he had spoken about these matters, he did not have access to the president. I believe the person that Cyril Ramaphosa spoke to when he arrived to the conclusion that there should be a commission of inquiry, it was Senzo Mchunu. So imagine Senzo Mchunu being the one that's involved or allegedly being at the center of all of this, and is the one that Cyril Ramaphosa thinks he can have a meeting with and come up with this conclusion that there should be this and that and that and that and that. And the other day we spoke right here on this channel about how Senzo Mchunu played a very big role in Cyril Ramaphosa deciding to put him on leave of absence. So Senzo Mchunu was at the center of the most decisions that Cyril Ramaphosa was taking, whether it's the Commission of Inquiry or Senzo Mchunu going on leave. Because Senzo Mchunu did say that I spoke to the president that I should go on leave of absence. So these two had a meeting and talked about this and exactly what they were going to do. But the one person that was not involved or that was not called there to also be part of all of this, even though being very much integral to this, Mkhwanazi was not called. Mkhwanazi was not part of all of this. What does this say exactly? Does Cyril Ramaphosa have beef with Mkhwanazi? Does he have a problem with the revelations that Mkhwanazi revealed? Does he think it's not necessary to speak with Mkhwanazi? And why is it not necessary? It's the logical thing to do. Why did he not do that? And there's another thing that I really have a problem with here. Mkhwanazi revealed all of this corruption, rampant, obvious corruption that was going on. And you want to tell me, or someone wants to tell me, that Cyril Ramaphosa knows nothing about this. He knows nothing about the officials, the police commissioners and the police ministers and the criminals working together in this country. He knows nothing about the robberies of cash cars that's happening in this country. He knows nothing about the drugs being stolen by the police and all of sorts of corruption that have been going on being led by the police and leaders in government. He knows nothing about that. And we are talking about a person here who has got all the levers of the security cluster in this country. He has got, or he sits as the leader of the intelligence of this country, the intelligence of the police, the intelligence of the army, and the normal intelligence of the country. He sits in those meetings. What intelligence are they telling him if he does not know of the wrong things that are going in this country? If he does not know who are the criminals in this country and what they are doing? People are being killed left, right, and center. We've got a syndicate that just kills people. And the intelligence of this country does not tell the president about it. Now, that is something very much suspicious to me. I don't understand how it is that the country can sink into chaos of corruption and crime, and the president knows nothing. Have we outsourced our intelligence? Or is our intelligence working somewhere else in some other country? Or did we send them to Haiti like Kenya sent their police? We shipped our intelligence to there. So we don't have any intelligence in the country, at least for the longest time since Cyril Ramaphosa came into the country. We know what Jacob Zuma used the intelligence of this country for. It was to do what he wanted to do, and he had a grip in the country. He had control of the country to do whatever it is that he wanted to do. So where's the intelligence in the government of Cyril Ramaphosa? And why is it that the president knows nothing about the important things that are destroying the country? I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think it is as simple as Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't know. I wait for the day when Cyril Ramaphosa is going to go to that commission of Madlanga or to Parliament ad hoc committee where he would tell us exactly where he was when all of these things was happening. How is it that he does not know? What did the intelligence say? What's happening, Mr. President? Because what he would say there would be very much important. I am very much interested in what happens because there's just too many questions. How is it that the president doesn't know? It's a mystery that has to be unraveled. Well, for now, we will have to end it here. And if you made it to this point, thank you very much. Please remember to like and subscribe.